Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I know I am very excited to be here at Colgate, part of the Colgate community and Raider family. It's been trial by fire so far, but wouldn't have it any other way. And as a new head coach, first year head coach, we're surrounded by a lot of very knowledgeable people and people that are willing to help and likewise willing to be very receptive of my thoughts and opinions of the program. And we have a great group, great families, and just a privilege to be here.
Question? Yes, I'll start. So you began the role about a month before the start of the regular season. Can you tell us a little bit more about, say, what that first month has been like? How hectic, how busy, how scrambling to do all kinds of things. What was it like?
Scrambling's a good word. Yeah, my first month actually haven't been technically this past Monday. It's been amazing. I think it's been just a lot of, I know it's been a lot of relationship building, which is something that's a really strong suit for me, especially with my team, but especially with those that, Mark Wheeler, who supports our program in any way he can. Tony also is supporting us any way we can, our AT, everybody. So I think it's really been that relationship building piece for us that's really culminated in already a very successful result-oriented weekend coming from the Carousel Classic in Binghamton. But really, it's just been fantastic just to get my hands in the dirt, so to speak, and just to get to work with these athletes. And also knowing that we have a long way to go in terms of everybody's development, but that we're going to do it together, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. So it's been a great month so far. So can't wait to see where we go ahead from here.
What was your first official action as head coach?
Probably to get some decals up in my office. No, but I think my first action was really to literally just build a relationships with my players and get to know them, reach out to their families, and let them know that, hey, I'm here for you and here to support you and here to help these awesome young women any way I can and see what we can grow, even within the fall together, which is a short period of time. But yeah, it's kind of my first action, so to speak. And of course, we're always recruiting, always like on the phones and such. So a lot of that was really making sure that we have a fantastic first class officially for me for fall 2026, which I've been hard at work at.
So you graduated college in, I believe, 2016, correct?
Correct.
What enabled you to climb the ranks and become a Division I head coach so quickly?
Great question. I think it's been a combination of my experiences within admissions, student affair, of course, in athletics, but academy work and working at New England Tennis Academy in Wellesley, Mass. Really opened my eyes to different ways of development. And also having that also occurred around the time of the pandemic, it was a lot of video analysis work too, which really is something that I've looked to really instill in my programs, even at the Division III level at Wellesley or at Regis College, where I had my graduate assistantship, but things that I really look to be very important pieces and but very minute, but very large pieces, if that makes sense, in the development process for especially tennis athletes, where video sharing is not common form, within our sport. Where it is maybe for basketball, lacrosse, and other programs, but making those more commonalities for us and knowing how important that is within our players' development. With that too, I think, as I had mentioned before in previous question, I think relationship building is a big strength of mine. I think it's why I've seen good success result-wise, but then also personnel-wise with who we bring in just over the last couple of years with the nationally ranked classes that have come in, but it means nothing if they're not good people. So I think finding that cultural fit has been huge for me, and has led to great growth internally and externally, and then in that quote unquote results-oriented field, which saw us kind of climb the ranks high when I was at Wellesley to number 12 in the country, which was something we hadn't done in close to 15 years, which was truly special. So. But yeah, I think it's been a slow climb, at least for me, but I'm just the person that tries to keep their head down and just try to serve the people around me. I try to really take that servant leadership mindset personally and very importantly. So.
And then, so knowing tennis is a team and an individual sport, how are you going to help cater to player development, as you previously touched on, and then creating that positive team camaraderie?
Yeah, and it's a great question, Ashley. I think it really starts with first and foremost being very detail oriented and having those conversations as early as possible. For me, as my first act, really making that clear that I am really focused more so on that relationship building with my team. And I know I beat that like a dead horse in this presser right now, but it's something that's super important to me within this process of coming in, but also through the years too with the different classes that we bring in, or new coaching staff that we might bring into, and making sure that they're all on the same page with me and my vision. But I think the tenets that I personally use really within that preparation, accountability, and cooperation with each other, it's already tenets that are already part of this program, I would say, in different ways. And so this first month has also been huge in just getting them used to my communication style, being very open, being very transparent, and I think in ways promoting vulnerability and making sure that my players see that they don't have to be right. I don't expect to be the expert in everything. I'm learning from them as I go here too, in terms of what it means to be part of this community. And I think when you open up that communication stream, I think that's where true growth occurs. And I think it's been, we're working towards that, and I think they're definitely getting used to me. But I think it's been a really great collaboration so far. And while I've been able to kind of still stamp my tenets kind of in the ground, so to speak, with this group, and I think they've really taken it and ran with it. I think practice has been super productive, and we've taken the time to do a bunch of individual work to really work on what they want. We've brought in a new scouting system that I've taken from a great coach and mentor of mine at Wellesley College, Brian Kusher, and I think they've really taken all of these details and these points of preparation, and they've truly ran with it. And it's been really cool for me to see. But it's how consistent we are at the end of the day and through the fall. So that's where I come in and try to keep everybody accountable with that and say, like, okay, how are we going to improve each day? And I think they've done a great job of that so far.
And then I just have one more. Just knowing that the women's tennis program has been under the same leadership the past 19 years, now that you're stepping into the role, what would you like to continue that the program has already done, and where are you going to bring your own touch?
Yeah, and I just want to say, Coach Pennington has just done such an amazing job with programs over the last couple of years. They've seen such an upward trajectory in talent, and then also academic prowess, and then also leading to success on the court as a result. So it's been really fun. I've known him a bit before. We've had the same recruiting pools that we've pulled from. Yeah. And he's just a great human being that I really enjoyed collaborating with. And I think the one thing that always stood out about Coach Pennington's programs has been his ability to really he's just such a charismatic person, and just such a person that his players know that they can go to. And I think just to continue to emulate that within our program and keep that ethos, so to speak, is something that I think is an expectation of our alums and our alumni, and really just something I look to carry forward in that tradition of close support, giving back, and showing where this program is going to go, which having us both now having our equal parts to kind of look after, it's hard to say and exciting to kind of look at to see like where we could go from here. And I think just collaborating continuously with him, we've already had a number of conversations about what we want to do with our programs or what I plan to do here, and I think that collaboration isn't going to end. He's a very open-minded person. He's been great to learn with and work with so far, and yeah, I think it's just that general ethos of support and giving back and having a presence as an alum, as a current student athlete, and as a family member or parent, like you're part of something greater than yourself. And I think that's something that he's done an unbelievable job of doing here over his past 20 years here at Colgate, and something I hope I can step up and try to carry that flag forward.
Coach, going back to when you were first hired, you've touched on this a few times already, but when you first met with the team, how did you introduce yourself to the team? Can you just walk us through, what that process was like? And then you also touched on this a little bit. How has Bobby Pennington helped you, with that process?
Yeah, I think it definitely it came in pretty quickly, like how he could get me in touch with the players, and Mark Wheeler also getting us in touch with the players very quickly too. That being a big priority for me right out of the gate before any practice plans or anything were made. But I think it was I think it was a pretty quick process, at least from the outside looking in and coming in as like the stranger of the program, so to speak. But I think Bobby really helped me with trying to just get used to certain traditions and aspects here and communication flows. And just being on top of that and knowing what to expect when coming into working with a different community and campus members. At each campus, as I've known, I've worked at 5 to 6 different campuses over time in different capacities and different departments. So that's the funnest part of it, but also the most difficult is understanding those flows and flow of processes. So that comes with time. I think I've gotten a better handle on it even within like the first month here, but he's been such an invaluable resource to me and the players as well. I can't overstate how helpful they've been and how collaborative they've been in saying, what do you need from us? What information can you tell us about your tradition? So it really has been just like an all hands in approach. And I've been allowed in that sense, really able to come in and enact my vision right away, put our scouting system in, and really establish and work with a team like, okay, what are our standards now each day? And really focus on the day-to-day rather than having to, also planning for the future. Just being able to keep one foot in front of the other right now and really enjoy the fall together and working on development on court and as a group. I can't overstate too how invaluable Bobby has been to that program and how important he'll be to me, moving forward, helping me out with stuff here and there. So I hope I'm able to help him out too. So hopefully it'll be a continuous collaboration. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Coach, will you have your own assistant coaches, or will both teams have the same assistant coaches? I know that's been determined.
Yeah, that's been talked about. I think we're still going through that exploratory process and finalizing certain things. We had a great staff of humans last year, that we sorely miss. That I've been able to still use as great resources for myself here and everything that they helped and the agency they have with our student athletes. But I think it's still very exploratory at this time, to be fair. And we'll kind of, take things from there. But I know we're going to bring in somebody who's going to really have agency with this group and that I want, and I know Bobby will want, to hopefully aid each program in their own capacity. I think we're keeping an open mind as a coaching staff and as administration, and I think that's been encouraging to see that we're looking to potentially take a new approach or just kind of going with the flow right now and keeping an open mind. But as of now, we're planning for Coach Bobby and myself to just be acting as sole oversight of our programs for the foreseeable future. But we'll be looking into that additional support because it only means more of an investment into our student athlete experience, of course. So, yeah.
And so far, after a few weeks with the team, what is your assessment of your student athletes?
They're a very passionate, very supportive group of each other. They're very selfless. That's been the biggest thing that I've come in and seen. Not to say that I don't have that as an expectation of student athletes, but I think it's all you can really ask as a coach, right? So that's been really encouraging to see. There's such a strong sense of tradition here amongst the group. We have a fantastic leadership group in Sasha and Amelia, and they've been invaluable for me to use, at my disposal and work with. We have a great returning cast. We have a big junior class that I'm already feeling like we're really going to miss this passionate group once they graduate the coming year. So I'm just enjoying the time I have with them. And we have some great second years that are contributors in the lineup right away and from last year as well. And 3 great first years that I know will be able to and have already shown that they can make an impact at this level. This past week, we only had about like a week or so really of practice, maybe even less, or just a bit more than that, maybe like a week and 2 days. To really prep this group for our invite in Binghamton. And we had some great results, but my focus is, and I say this a lot with them, we're going to be results driven, but not results focused, if that makes sense. So we really are focusing on, again, the daily development and what we're doing, what our standards are each day, how we're meeting them, and how we can remain accountable to that. And I think they've really stayed within that, with that mindset of like kind of have blinders on a bit. I know it's that classic cliche, it's tough, but as a coach, it's kind of like in my right to use all the cliches. but I think, again, with this group, it's been really great to see how they have just such a strong sense of self and identity. And I asked them, through this time and through like our first weekend of competition, it's like, okay, we have this great identity, but how are we going to project that in competition? How are we going to let our identity shine, through, competition? How is that going to be an X factor for us? When we play the Lehighs, we play the Bucknells, that we're right in the middle of, a great, pack of competition. And how that's going to form great habits heading into the spring. And so I think, again, great group, really supportive of each other, and just a very cooperative and hardworking group. They've put a lot of work on court so far, and they're excited for our invite coming up where we get to, let that identity shine and, project who we really want teams to see us as when we step into competition further in the fall and then later into the spring.
I have just one more. How did last weekend you competed in Binghamton? How did that feel to have to coach a team in action for the first time?
Yeah, there's definitely some communication flows of them getting used to me getting used to them. So I haven't really necessarily prioritized the results, even though we had people stepping up and down the lineup that did a fantastic job against a really deep team in Niagara, a very developed and really a progressed team from last year in Binghamton, and then Lemoyne, which is always a tough out. And so in doubles and singles, really finding that chemistry within pairings and just seeing how we can work together and saying it's like, hey, none of this is set in stone. You have to prove yourself each day. Just because you had this part or this area in the lineup that was yours in singles or doubles doesn't mean that you're going to be back in that position, the coming weekend. So I think, again, it's just how are we focusing on the day-to-day and what are we doing to improve and how are we keeping ourselves accountable. And I think, we had 2 first years, one that just finished out of the top 5 if we're looking results-oriented, and went 2-0 at the 4 and 5 position, as a first year. It was a great showing by Caroline. Anson, one of our first years, was able to come up with a big doubles win versus Lemoyne with their partner, Anya. And again, it's just trying to get used to each other and get used to new pairings and getting used to my voice, which was really fun. And I think it was just a really great weekend. And again, I want to also thank Nick and Paul from Binghamton University, men's and women's tennis, and tennis charities of Binghamton. They did a fantastic job, and I think it's really a very progressive view of what invites can look like, even at the Division I level, and the community aspect that I brought to it with working with different elementary schools from actually my hometown. For playing on my high school courts, which is a little weird within itself, but really cool to see people and help in the community. So, and I think it was an amazing experience for our group as well. So, all over just a great weekend, and we're really looking forward to our invite in 2 weeks.
Coach, when you talk about the community, your family's from this area, you have ties to this area. Just what does it mean to come back to Central New York? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, especially with the 3-month-old boy, it means a lot to have that family help. But yeah, just to be even close to my hometown of Binghamton and to see people that follow me through my coaching journey and through my time as a junior, even in my hockey days, it just so meaningful to us. And my wife being from about, miles away, just in Manlius too, it means so much for my niece and nephew and for my son when he understands what I'm doing. To be able to see that for the foreseeable future and to be part of this community that has welcomed us with open arms. And we live right in town, and we want to be, present and visible in this community. And we just want to continue to find ways. We've talked with our team in ways that we can help our community, and whether it's the food pantry or working in Utica or Greater Syracuse, like how can we contribute to the society and people around us. And so I think that's going to be another big sense for our team. But for me, selfishly and personally, it's great to be back in upstate New York. Yeah, just nice to be not having to worry about Boston traffic each day. So that's a really nice part of it too. So, but yeah, it means everything to us. It means the world.